Welcome to the summary of the final turn of 1942. These were the two cards that were in play. This time I didn't forget to actually carry out the event. That is, they couldn't be carried out because there was no German infantry in Russia. I mean, I assume that to mean Russian home territory, and even though the Germans have taken some Russian-held Polish territory, they're not actually inside the original, inside Russian homeland. So I just ignored them, which I think I played correctly. Now, what happened in this turn? The Allies bombed the factory in the Ruhr area, which was actually successful. They didn't lose a single step, even though they faced 4 dice of anti-aircraft fire, as well as a German air unit that was also in the area. But they missed, and the bomber actually managed to hit the factory and reduce it by 1 step. That was the one Western Allied command. As you can see, it was a Russian 3 command card, so 2 commands went to the Soviets and 1 command went to the Western Allies, which they used, as I said, to bomb the factory in the Ruhr area. Now, they were actually planning on invading Sicily. The weather allowed it because, remember, there's only a winter turn in Russia and Finland on the final turn of a year. But they didn't have sufficient command to do so, because it costs 2 command to launch a sea invasion. So since 2 of those points went to the Russians, it turned out the Western Allies were unable to do so. Now, what else did the Western Allies do? They set up some naval units for a future invasion of Denmark. Obviously, the Germans saw that coming, so they used one of their command to move a unit strategically into Denmark, so as to defend it. But of course, defense is very, very light, so they will definitely have to upgrade these defenses in the coming turns. The next turn will be a winter turn everywhere, which prohibits a sea invasion, so they have a couple of turns to do so. But as you can see, their defense is extremely light, so they'll be in trouble. Come to think of it, I think I completely forgot to upgrade the German units on the on this turn's production phase, so I still have to do that. So definitely this one will be a strength 3 by the time I'm done. But, you know, they will still need to further bolster their defenses. So there's an invasion threat in Denmark. There's an invasion threat in the south of Italy. And of course, the Russians are still knocking literally at the gates of Berlin. Well, that's a nice bridge to get to what the Allies did. As I said, one thing they did was to strategically move a unit, I believe, from southern Italy into Denmark. And the other thing they did is they attacked Warsaw. And, well, it was kind of a stalemate. They did inflict some hits on the Russians, but the Russians inflicted some hits back. So it wasn't all that eventful there, and the Russians managed to get their units back up to strength in the production phase. The other German command, or Axis command I should say, went into... that was the German attack, so that cost them. And the Soviets attacked German-held Lvov, or Carpathians. The Russians suffered heavy losses there, to be frank, and the Germans, hardly any. So it really turns out that the Russians seem to need their 1943 units. Luckily for them, 1943 has now come round. So from now on they can start building these units as well. These are the strong Russian units, which they definitely need because the Germans are simply stronger. Another thing the Russians have done is they are grouping here. They use one strategic movement, so 1 command point to move the leader from the Urals into, well, whatever this area is called, Bessarabia, so as to attack Romania and seize production points from the Germans and threaten Hungary as well. So basically to go around the German defenses, to go around the mountains. So basically what's happening is that the Germans are still holding on, but they're having to fight on multiple fronts now, and I don't think they will be able to defend everywhere for much longer. So yeah, basically this is where we are now and how the game's been evolving. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll be around for the next turn.